Hey guys, what's up? It's Steve. So today we're going to be making some pulled beef. What I'm going to be doing is smoking a couple boneless chuck roasts on the Kamado Joe, and we're going to whip up a tasty little tiger sauce and make some nice little sandwiches. This is a quick and easy recipe to put together, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the meat that we're gonna be using today are these boneless chuck roasts. They're both about 3 pounds a piece. Got them on sale at my local Publix. And all I'm gonna be doing is just using some cheap yellow mustard for a binder. You could use some olive oil or something like that. This is gonna allow our rub to adhere to the meat well. All right, we've got both sides nice and coated there. All right, and so for our rub today, I'm gonna be using the Kamado Joe brisket rub. And so we're gonna give a nice liberal coating to all sides. All right, and that's good. So now we're gonna go ahead and just let these sit while we fire up the Kamado Joe and start bringing it up to temp. All right, guys, I'm out here at the Kamado Joe Big Joe. I've got it set up for indirect. I'm gonna be cooking the roast up here on the top rack just to get them a little bit further away from the heat source below. And I'm gonna be controlling my cook today with the new Barbecue Guru CyberQ Cloud. I actually just did a review on that, so I'll have a link so you can check that out. And we're just gonna go ahead and get these two roasts put up top just like this. If I didn't mention it, I'm gonna be cooking at 250 today. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put a probe in one of these roasts right here, and I'll be monitoring these off and on. I'm gonna let this go. It's probably gonna be about 2.5 to 3 hours. We're gonna get these roasts up to about 150, 160, and then at that point we're gonna put them in a fan with a little beer, and then we're gonna get them foiled up and finish out the cook that way. So we'll be back in just a little bit. All right, guys, I'm gonna walk you through this tiger sauce that we're gonna be making for our pulled beef sandwiches. This is a recipe that I got out of the Cook's Illustrated Meat book. This is an amazing book if you don't have this. I'll put a link in the description. I use this thing all the time. Great information, tons of really great recipes. This sauce is only 4 ingredients. We've got half a cup of mayo, half a cup of prepared horseradish, about a teaspoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and then 1 garlic clove that we have minced up. And you can add salt and pepper to taste if you want. I don't think it's necessary. All right, we'll add our mayo, our horseradish, our garlic, and our lemon juice. And then we're just gonna whisk this up. All right, now when you're making this, if it doesn't get to the consistency that you want, so I think this is a little bit too thick for my taste, all I do is I just take some more freshly squeezed lemon juice and just kind of slowly add that in just like that. And then you can see how that thinned that out some. All right, so that's all we gotta do, and we're just gonna sit this aside. All right, so we are right around the 3-hour mark. Been riding at 250 this whole time. The internal temp of these roasts is right around 150, 155. And so at this point, what I want to do just to continue to break that meat down, so we're going to put them in some foil with some braising liquid. All right, we're going to go ahead and get these two roasts into a foil pan here, just like this. All right, now here's where the magic happens. A lot of you guys know that I'm here in Gator Nation in Gainesville, Florida. And we have a phenomenal craft brewery here. It's called Swamphead Brewery, and this is one of their beers called Midnight Oil. It is a oatmeal coffee stout, and I've done this recipe with this beer before and it turned out so good I'm gonna do it again. So really you can just use any nice dark beer that you want. You don't need to overdo it. You just wanna put a little bit in here, maybe about half an inch worth, and it's just gonna sit there and steam and braise. We're gonna wrap this in foil, and what that's gonna do is that's gonna almost in a way kind of act like a crock pot environment where it's gonna continue just to break this meat down. Beef is a lot harder to break down than pork since there's nowhere near as much fat in it. So we're helping it out by adding this liquid. And I'm obviously gonna down the rest of this beer. And we're just gonna start getting some foil on it. We wanna wrap it nice and tight. Just like that. All right, and those for you that were watching closely, I did forget to put my meat probe back in, so I went ahead and did that real quick. So it is back in here. I've got it in just one of these roasts here. We're gonna let this go until these roasts hit about 200 to 205, and at that point, we're gonna be able to just use our hands and pull this apart just like a butt or something like that. So we're gonna keep on cruising. All right guys, it's been about another 2.5 hours. You may be able to see a couple of the holes there in the tinfoil. I probed it a few times with my Thermapen in different sections there, and it's all right around 200, 205. So what I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and pull this off, and I'm gonna let it rest for probably about 30 minutes or so, and then we're gonna start pulling this thing apart. All right guys, I've let these roast rest for about 30, 45 minutes. I dump them into my large pan here that I like to pull butts and just kind of prepare different meats in. So you can see here, I'm just gonna start using my hands, and it's just gonna start tearing apart like this. Now, one thing that you need to know is this is not gonna shred apart as buttery smooth as like a butt would. But you can see here how super tender. It's been basing in this liquid for 3 hours. And the key here is just to take your time, pull it apart. It's got a nice tenderness about it. And it's gonna take about 5-10 minutes just to pull this apart. And what I like to do is when you're pulling these chuck roasts apart, there will be some sections of fat that you want to just kind of keep an eye out for, and you'll just kind of pick those out of the meat. But you can just see how nice and tender that looks, and see how I'm just going to kind of sit there. It just takes a little bit more work than like a butt does, but don't be afraid just to get in there and work with it. See that there? That is just buttery smooth right there. All right guys, I just want to show you this real quick. It's only been about 3 minutes. I've just been using my hands just like this. And I mean, this basically looks like a tender butt right here that's being pulled. All right, so all I like to do with these sandwiches is use a little bit of just sliced white onion. And we're just gonna put a little bit of this on the bottom like this. This is all I like to do, and we're gonna take some of our amazingly tender pulled beef. Just kind of build this out just like this. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. Wow. And then go ahead and hit this with our tiger sauce. And we're just gonna drizzle this on the top. Just like that. All right, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and try this out. Ooh, check that out.
And you can edit.
All right, so that went all over my face when I tried that bite. My wife's laughing at me right now. That is amazing. The beef just absolutely just falls apart. That sauce just goes so well. If you guys haven't ever tried pulled beef like this, definitely check this out. I mean, it's a quick and easy recipe. There's not a whole lot to it. Just give it time, give it some of that basing liquid, a beer, you can use beef broth, something like that. And then slap this thing on some buns and just go for it. So appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and thanks for stopping by my channel, and we'll see you again soon. All right, let's try this again. I went a lot better that time. Man.